Hey, thanks for joining us here on Middle Georgia Sports Live. I'm Brett Taylor. I'm here with Athletic Director at Westside High School here in Macon, Georgia, Candice Roberson. Candice, so happy to have you. So good to see you, and just excited to hear more about what's going on here at Westside and what's going on here with you at Westside.
I appreciate you coming. I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely. So we'll jump right into it. I just wanted to know a little bit about your background, what got you, started into coaching, kind of maybe your scholastic career and then your playing career. I know you played high school, college, and a little bit in the pros. So just give us some insight into who Candice Roberson is, how you kind of came into the coaching profession, and just a little bit about your background.
All right. Well, I'm a native of Newton, Kansas. So I attended Newton High School in Kansas. That's about 20 miles north of Wichita, Kansas. I ran track in high school and played basketball in high school. I didn't start athletics until my 9th grade year.
Wow.
So just didn't really have a knack for it until, one of my good friends was scared to try out. So she asked me if I'd go out there with her, and it was a mess. It was a mess. I was laying the ball up over the backboard, just didn't have the skill, but I had the talent, the speed, and could jump out the gym and that type thing. So they kept me. I worked on my skill and made the team and went ever since then. I ran track as well. In the high school, I did the long triple 1 and 2.
Wow.
I'm a 4-time long and triple state champion in Kansas, and I was a runner-up. I never could beat this one girl, Tina Buckner, wherever you are. I was always the runner-up in the 1 and the 2
Wow.
in track. So everybody kind of pushed me to run track. It wasn't really what I wanted to do. I wanted to play basketball because I could create. It was enjoyable for me. Track was just, something that I was good at.
Yeah.
So trying to stay close to home and, pressures from the family, I went to KU on a track scholarship.
Wow.
Until I didn't. So, bills started piling up. Okay, hold on, I'm nationally ranked in this sport.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a full scholarship. My mom, single parent, said, let me just figure something out. So I withdrew within 2 weeks. And I remember driving home, I said, my mom was gonna kill me. And then when I pulled up, she almost did. I said, I promise you, I'm gonna go to college. I promise you. And so I went to Hutchinson Community College. Okay. And went in, and everybody told me, no, KU has dissolved all your money and all your grants. And I said, okay. I said, let me stop one more place. So I went down to the track office, and I remember Coach Becker, he was writing, and I just knocked on the door. I said, good morning, my name is Candice Roberson. And he looked up, and I can't tell you what he said, but it was like, oh, heck yeah, whatever you need, he's gonna do it. And I just asked if he would mind if I walked on to the basketball program. And I played basketball and ran track there. I'm an 8-time All-American in track, but still, basketball is what I wanted to do. So I got an offer from the University of Cincinnati. I had a few offers, but I chose Cincinnati because that's where I felt most comfortable. And I played there, started point guard every game, led my team to 2 Conference USA championships. Well, one of them was but from there, tried tried the WNBA, got invited to Indiana, got cut, off of that team. Went overseas, tried out, made a team, got a contract, fell through, something happened. So let me just come on back home and get a grown lady job. But over there in Coimbra, Portugal is where I met Latavia Coleman, who is now the girls basketball coach at AD at Howard. So I did my tour overseas, tried to make a team. I wasn't, really recruited out of college like that. So went over there, got a contract. That's where I met Coach Coleman at Howard High School. Was in Coimbra, Portugal. So she was there on the team. Ended up, somebody else, a scout, see me, had an opportunity to go to Germany. Something happened with that between my agent and that part. So I was just like, let me just come on home and get a big girl's job. And so I moved back to Atlanta because my uncle works with the railroad in Atlanta. And I was a probation officer. I was a criminal justice major coming out of college. So probation officer, there. By that time, Latavia had came back. I didn't know, and I don't remember if you remember MySpace, but
Oh yeah.
that's where, come on to Macon, and I said, Macon. It was like, yeah, you can, coach and teach. So I transferred my probation officer job here for 2 years, and then went through the processes of Raynette hiring me as a coach and a teacher here in the district.
Awesome. That's great. What was it like being over in Portugal, living overseas, getting the experience of being in a different culture, different place altogether in the United States? What was that like?
I loved it. It was nice. I mean, culture shock at first. I come in off the plane, and Mengosh, he was the team captain or whatever he was. He took care of team affairs, and he came up and tried to kiss me, and I was like, what the world? So I just, that was just, just
like
getting
the
used to their customs
yeah.
and everything. So learning that the food was great, the people were very nice, and it was just, but you miss home.
Oh, yeah. My ear perked up when you said food.
Oh yeah, I loved it. Oh yeah. So we ate good now.
So you came to Macon and you didn't really even have a job here in Bibb County yet as far as coaching, but you had your eyes set on going through the process of getting your certification, getting ready to go to be a teacher coach. And so did you start out right here at Westside, or did you start at another school when you came to Bibb
sir.
County?
I started as a Central Charger. I was at Central over there with Andre Taylor. He was there. Actually, our district AD, Kevin Grooms, was a coach there as well at Central. So we all, kind of started together. I coached I assisted basketball, assisted track, and I assisted softball. So Jennifer Raymond was the softball coach at the time, and I was her assistant. Then I went into basketball. Jennifer Raymond started as basketball coach, and then Sheila Toombs took over. And then I also coached track over there as well.
All right. So we've heard a little bit about Coach Roberson. What we're going to do is take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to figure out how she got over here at Westside, her career at Westside, and kind of the current state of things here in athletics at Westside High School. So stick with us. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back into Middle Georgia Sports Live. Again, we're here with athletic director here at Westside High School, Coach Candice Roberson, and we talked a little bit about her background, her scholastic achievements, her athletic achievements, and getting into college, and going and playing professional basketball, also playing overseas professionally, and then got back to the Middle Georgia area first by way of Atlanta. And now she's at Central. She's going to tell us a little bit about how she went from being at Central to getting over here at Westside, and kind of how that happened, and then her first season, if you will, here at Westside, and then the glorious 14 years that you've had since that first season getting over here at Westside.
Okay, going back to Central. So like I said, I was assisted Sheila Toombs at basketball. And I had been wanting to be, to try to be a head coach within the district. And I was just being told I wasn't ready. I was like, okay, so what does ready look like? So I just made sure I just kind of watched people, watch how things operated, not only on the court, but off the court, trying to get those processes down. So unfortunately, Coach Toombs had a stroke one year. And I had to step in and be the interim as she, got well. And it was that time. If you remember around that time, Central basketball, we weren't the greatest. We couldn't, people were busting the clock on us. It was hard for us to get it, across the half court with the traps and everything. It just wasn't that program yet. Yeah. We had the tools, but just hadn't made that push. I took over as head, and then we went on a winning streak. I remember Southwest, we beat Southwest for the first time, I don't know in how many years, and just ran through some of the teams in the city. And it was actually came to Westside. Westside, I remember Coach Dale Baber was the coach at the time, and she came over and to Central, and we beat Westside. And that was, Westside was the team back then. And I guess I had just proven that, at that point, I was ready to lead a team. Well, they approached me that Deb was going to be stepping down and retiring, and would this be the place I wanted to be? And so I came over and been here ever since. So I spent 6 years there, and I've been here
that
for 14.
victory, being a Central Charger over Westside, kind of was
Kinda
an
what pushed
omen,
me,
if you
yeah.
a good omen,
Yeah.
that you were going to be coming over and being a Seminole.
Yes.
So talk about maybe your first season at Westside, and then kind of what's happened since then. I know you had a great season this year, a big season all the way to Sweet 16. But talk a little bit about that, and then maybe some of the other stuff going on in athletics around here at Westside, and where you see kind of the current state of Westside athletics.
Okay. Well, when Deb left, the dynamics of the team actually changed as well. They did, I came in, had some of the kids returning, but didn't get a lot of playing time, like kids going, other places and not coming to Westside. So it was a different scene than when she had the team. But that first year, we struggled, and I just kept asking the girls. They worked hard. They were very coachable. Didn't have a lot of skill, but I just asked them to believe. Just believe in the process and continue just to get better day by day. If you get better each day, this regular season, it is what it is. Right. There's a region tournament. Right. So we got our head knocked in a lot. That first regular season, we won 7 games. When we got to that region tournament, that's when, I don't know, the light switch came on, and we just upset. Made it to that game against veterans, and we got beat out by veterans, but we made it to the state playoffs. So that kind of gave them the momentum going into the state, like, okay, we can play with some people. We ended up playing Woodland, who was maybe number 1 or 2 seed at the time. I can't remember, but they were good. They had D1 prospects throughout their team. But we went in there, we was up 23 at halftime.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, I don't know what happened after. We lost but the game by 3.
Yeah, well.
So when a team shoots 30 free throws, in one half, that kind of fouled it out. So it kind of, we went out well. I say it like that. So that was my first year, and people kind of questioning, she ready? Then when we did what we did, kind of did. So, since then I've had decent talent in and out. Just never had that team. Had a good player here, good player there, and that not that team that stayed. We've showed in the state playoffs a couple of times. Then in the COVID year, that was probably my most memorable team. We had 7 girls. Then if you play spades, we call it 6 and impossible. But no, we had 7 girls. But they weren't ball players. Right. But like I said, they worked hard. They were very coachable. We couldn't even come in the building for a while, so we met at Macon State, and we just worked out. We knew we had to be in shape. Right. So we grinded. Me and my 2 coaches, Coach Davis and Coach Gray, who's now at Jones County, we just had them up here, and we consistently just worked them out, and they just consistently came. Then we came in, had a similar year that we had. We were region runner-up to Baldwin, made it to the Sweet 16. But with 6 girls, we ended up getting beat out by the state champions that year. So.
Well, that had to be a tough year, considering all the things that were going around, floating around. Like you said, you had constraints on facilities, constraints on probably having folks in the stands. I remember that. But it's always funny. I tell folks, you face the most adversity. A lot of times, that's the sweetest. The sweetest time that you don't think is going to be. So that's interesting to hear you say that was your most rewarding or most memorable season. Tell us a little bit about the season this year. 23-6, number 8 seed overall, made it to the Sweet 16, lost here in a good game against Hart. Tell us about this season and kind of how it went, and maybe a few of the girls that you had on the team that were their kind of shining stars, if you will. Yeah. So this season was special. I had a lot of seniors, and my 5 seniors are the ones who stuck with me throughout the 4 years just to get better. Several of them started as freshmen. They had to because, we didn't have the numbers. And so they used those time to grow, and they grew up into this senior year. So it was just like a mama bear watching their cubs grow up over the years, and just proud of them, not just the things that they do on the court, but the things that they do off the court. It was a family environment. We traveled a lot in the summer times.
I actually took them to Cincinnati,
Oh, wow.
not this past summer, but last summer, just so they've always heard me talk about it. So let me go show you where. So just a lot of bonding that went on throughout the 4 years they were there. Just a good family, chemistry. The parents were great. They let me coach them, and that's one thing that really helped. They let me coach them. They let me love on them. They let me get in their behinds,
Right.
with no interference whatsoever. And then if there was a concern, they would bring it. We'd hash it out, and it'd be. I mean, it was just a great group of kids, great group of parents. I just really enjoyed that. Competitively, they were great. We lost because of us,
Right.
So it's just hard to get kids. What motivates kids these days, but just being strategic in doing that. Yeah, we won quite a few games. Enjoyed doing it. Got beat out in the Sweet 16 at home, which was something that, probably shouldn't have happened.
Right.
We just didn't. The better team showed up, and that's just a life lesson for them.
Right.
You got to be prepared.
Yeah, I'm sure that's bittersweet to end. Obviously, you want to host games. That's speaks to your regular season accomplishments, but then to have it end on your home floor is probably bittersweet. Talk a little bit about the kind of Westside High School in terms of athletics. I know great tennis program here. Over the years, has had a really good football program. I can remember back when I played, when they first started, and then had Coach Davis here for a while. Had some really good teams. Obviously, basketball's been a mainstay. But tell us a little bit about the current state of athletics here at Westside, and maybe what folks can look forward to the rest of this school season. And then when we get back after we take a break, we'll talk a little bit more about our future outlet for Westside. But what's going on here at Westside High School athletically right now?
Yeah, you just mentioned it. Traditionally, we've had a strong athletic program. Of course, we got Coach Spoon now, who's moving on, but he was the winningest coach in Bibb County history. Coach grew over 300 games in his tenure here as the basketball coach. So we've always had basketball. We got Deb in the rafters. Don't even ask me what my record is. I need to do better in that sense. But we've won some games, and just not only on the court or on the field, but just going on the next level. My girls who wanted to signed and went on. My girls who wanted to go to college, we found a way to go to college. My girls who wanted to go to the military, they went to the military. So, and some have their own businesses at the same time.
Right.
So that's success to me. Yeah, I've won plenty games, but success to me is to see my girls and to see them what they're doing now. Just always makes me proud. But yeah, we've had a winning tradition here at Westside. When I took over as the AD in 2022, it was my focus to get those other sports, some good coaches in there that's going to focus on getting those kids better to compete. We've had our tennis team step up. They've been to the state, I don't know if people know, every year since 2022.
Awesome.
Had a brand new tennis coach come in last year and went in and upset the number 3 seed to advance on, and so, the sports are going. Volleyball just started. Of course, flag just started. We're 4-time area champions in flag football.
That's awesome.
So, that's gonna bring kids and bring girls to our school or want them to join that team. Our volleyball has that we started off not winning. Now we're winning games. Just one set away from the state champion, the state tournament. So just those smaller schools, building opportunities for our young ladies to get involved, and that was a focus of mine too, because that's what I did my dissertation on.
Right.
Was the perceptions and physical activity behaviors on young African American adolescent girls, which we have here.
Right.
And then building the numbers in soccer. Our girls soccer team went to the state last year. So there's a lot of good things that are going on with our sports here. We increased our numbers by 20%, from participation numbers by 20%. So I just look forward to it just continuing on. So it's just not football and basketball anymore.
Yeah.
We're
and you mentioned a couple of hot sports that are going on right now.
Yeah.
Not to sidetrack things, but flag football, it's not going to do anything but continue to
Yep.
grow. And volleyball,
Yep.
especially in this area,
Yep.
Middle Georgia, Macon, Warner Robins, seems like volleyball has just started to take off. And it's great opportunities for young girls. I've always said that, man, if you could get some programs developed youth-wise for softball, flag football, volleyball, those types, in all of these
and let's
different
not forget
communities.
wrestling. Wrestling is big as well.
Wrestling's
We
gotten
had
big,
several.
yes.
We had several girls wrestle in the state championship,
awesome.
and so we got one that just was offered a scholarship. So she'll be signing soon.
And that's really the point. You know, I have girls driving home to them, hey, there's opportunities here at the next level because of these new sports that are being kind of brought about. And there's a lot of recognition that can be gained from that. And as you mentioned, it's not necessarily about them going and hanging banners. It's about how it affects them long term.
Yep.
And you mentioned a lot of the girls that you've had or folks coming through the athletic department here at Westside. The biggest reward you've got is they're good people, right? They go on and live fruitful lives. So that's all you can really ask for. So that kind of wraps up where we are currently here at Westside High School. What we want to talk about next when we come back is just a little bit about where Coach Roberson sees herself moving forward as she'll be moving on to some new endeavors. And then also where she sees kind of Westside moving forward athletically. She spoke about the current state here, but we really want to hear what the vision looks like moving forward in the next year to maybe 5 years. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Middle Georgia Sports Live, here with Coach Candice Roberson here at Westside High School. We've had a great time here talking with you, Coach. Just want to spend this last little moment to talk a little bit about where you see yourself going. Obviously in the near term, moving more into an administration role, where that may be, and then also kind of where you see Westside High School athletics, even though you maybe won't be as involved in athletics from that perspective, but where you see them trending towards Westside in the future. So maybe talk a little bit about what you're seeing for yourself here in the next few years.
Well, it's always been a goal of mine. Well, not always, but since becoming an educator, just to be an administrator. I love organization. I love putting things together and that type of thing. But it's always been coaching those sports. That was my passion at the time. So as I've gotten older, and I've gotten into this more so this athletic director role, you know, that it is an admin role. You take care of, it's a school within a school. Right. So you're running athletics, it's a school within a school. You got your finances, your hiring, and it's just a lot of things that go on. I loved it. I know we do a lot of PL as athletic directors, and I started, creating PL opportunities, speaking at the national level, teaching these courses to other ADs all over the nation. And so it's like the more and more I do it, it's like, now I'm kind of easing more over to that admin side. So that is a goal of mine, to first become an assistant principal somewhere, and maybe down the road, God willing, I'll become a principal. So, but I know that I had to let it go. And as that passion kind of fizzled and I was straddling that line, I said, this is probably the best time to go out on this highlight season with my 5 seniors who's poured everything into this program.
Right. And I know you mentioned something about your PL stuff and those opportunities. I know that you were recently at the National Athletic Directors Association doing presentations there or whatnot. Speak a little bit about that and just how that went for you and those opportunities there.
Oh yeah, it's not just me. Several athletic directors in BIB, we've presented at the state. There's a state and a national conference. So once you get certified, you can actually teach courses. So some of us we've taught courses at the state level, and then we've done presentations at the national level. So that's what you just seen. There's a symposium that we put together where all coaches in the district come and get like PL, like lessons in different areas that they choose. And we put that together for our district, and they asked us to present it at the national level. So that's what we did. So little old Macon on the map.
Oh yeah, that's great. National recognition for Macon, Georgia.
Yeah, so that was big. And so the more that I do that, it's just the more that new passion is starting to arise, and it's time. It's time for somebody else to come in here and blaze the trail a little bit. I'm getting old, so.
So with that being said, what do you see looking out for Westside athletics? I know you mentioned, and we talked about it in the last segment, about some of the development that you've kind of focused on and maybe some, I hate to say non-traditional, but maybe some new and up-and-coming sports areas, especially for female athletes.
Right.
What do you see moving forward? Maybe what are some of you look at the kids and see, hey, we may be strong in this sport next season, or we may surprise some folks here.
Right.
Like, what are some of those areas that you see for Westside, maybe the rest of this school year and then moving into next school year?
Well, for a lot of our sports, we're young, so we're going to have a lot of people coming back. I know I'm probably the most senior heavy this year, but we do that bridge with the middle school. So, I've gotten with Coach Collins, and those middle schoolers have been playing for JV for me. They travel to the camps in the summer for me. So just bridging that gap, and then just kind of preparing them for this level, it has been key with girls basketball. So I know we missed Brielle this year. Brielle King was a sophomore who would have definitely probably pushed us further and deeper into the tournament if we had her. So she'll be back alongside of Dominique, but we have 4 to 5 8th graders that are coming up that are already strong, and we'll go ahead and fill that in. Like I said, we're young in our other sports, so those are going to keep, flourishing as long as we have, people in place that's going to keep that, those standards, and not just meeting the standards, but exceeding those standards. Right. That is not our identity. We're not going to sit at the standard level. So we can get, the coaches in here with that mentality to push and continue to build this program. I think Westside will have a very successful future athletically.
Yeah, and I like how you said earlier about how you kind of measure success. Obviously, hanging banners, they're fun in the moment, they're fun in the season, and they're also something for kids to look back to, and coaches and folks associated alumni to look back and just, be nostalgic on those seasons and that championship and the pride that it brings. But I think the measurement that you said was, how are they going to turn out long term for their lives? And it seems like that's really the focus of what you've had here over your 14 years, and obviously you're hoping that continues. So
not only that, we talked a lot about sports, but academics is key, and that's what I drive my athletic program here, as well as my basketball team, but the totality of the program. If you look at Westside, the last, I don't know how many years, our valedictorian, our salutatorian have either one been an athlete or both been athletes since I've been here. Yeah. And so we don't just push sports, it's academics here too, because only 6 to 7% of kids are going to go on to college and play a sport. Yeah. So we have to teach them to fall back on their education. Right,
and that's so important. Be that well-rounded student athlete.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us. As I said, and you and I talked kind of before we started, that we're looking to really just kind of shine a spotlight, and we hope that we were able to do that with you today, and then also do that for Westside High School. And whoever comes in to fill your big shoes in the athletic department, we'll be sure to try to sit down with them and kind of get their vision. But it was awesome to sit down and talk with you and kind of hear about your history, hear about your time here at Westside and all that you've done. So thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you, and I look forward to hearing and seeing everything that you put out, with Westside Athletics as well as Bibb County Athletics.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you so much. It was great to have you. Yeah. And that'll wrap up our athletic director spotlight here with Coach Candice Roberson. Be sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and all other social media platforms.